This is second video in the exception handling series. Let's understand exception hierarchy in this video. By default, object is the superclass for all classes in Java. So it is directly or indirectly superclass for every class in Java. Throwable is subclass for the object class. This is the superclass for exception hierarchy in Java. So this is where our exception hierarchy will start it. Mainly it has two subclasses. The first subclass is error. Next subclass is exception. Exception has direct subclasses and it has one more subclass, that is runtime exception. Error has subclasses like assertion error, virtual machine errors like stack overflow error, out of memory error, internal error. These are subclasses for the virtual machine errors. And runtime exceptions, we have runtime exceptions like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, and array related like array index out of bounds exception. Exception classes, these are direct subclasses of the exception. Class not found exception, IO exceptions like file not found exception. In this way, there are a lot of subclasses in the each category. So this is high level exception hierarchy. So let's understand this in the clear diagram. Let me give clarity on few terms here. So when I say error, I'm pointing to this class. When I say errors, I'm addressing this whole section, error and its subclasses. Runtime exception, I'm pointing to this specific class, runtime exceptions. We are addressing this whole group. Checked exceptions, I'm addressing this whole group. When I say exception, specific to this class. When I say exceptions, I'm addressing this whole group. Okay. So this is very important when you pronounce singular plural. Okay. The next term is checked and unchecked. When you see these terms, you have to see from the compiler point of view. If it is checked, so compiler will check those exceptions at the compile time. When you see unchecked, so compiler will not check at the compilation time. So when you see these terms, it is very important. You have to see from the compiler point of view. These are unchecked errors. Generally, we don't call these exceptions. These errors also will not be checked by the compiler. That is why these are unchecked. One more notice, in this exception hierarchy, there is no interface. Now let's understand the subclass category error. See, we don't handle errors. Why we don't handle errors? Let's understand. Here I'm writing a method. Its name is recursive method. I'm calling recursive method within the same method. This is recursive call, right? So here thing is, we did not mention any exiting logic when it has to exit this recursion. Here we did not mention any exiting logic when it has to exit this recursion. So that is why it will be called recursively. Here I'm writing try block handling this error. So this error is stack overflow error. When we call it recursively, JVM will create stack memory and inside this it will call this method recursively. So at some point this stack will reach to out of memory. So by calling these methods recursively, by this time JVM will reach to stack overflow error. So there is no memory left in the JVM. So there will be no space in the stack to execute this catch block. That is why we don't handle errors. Even you handle errors, JVM will not execute that catch block. So now let's understand checked exceptions. These are checked exceptions. So handling is mandatory for them. Handling means here you can write try and catch block or you can throw set. So that we can see when I explained checked versus unchecked very clearly. So if you don't handle these exceptions, compiler will throw error at the compilation time. So people will tell these exceptions, checked exceptions will come at the compile time. So no exception will come at the compile time. If you don't handle these checked exceptions, for example, file not found exception, you did not handle. You did not write try catch block, or it did not throws that exception. So at this time, compiler will throw error at the compile time. That is not exception. By throwing error at the compilation time, compiler will tell you this is checked exception, so please handle this. So that is where compiler will make difference between these two exceptions, right? So this is error at the compilation time. If you don't handle, see this line number, this is error. This is not exception. It will come at the compilation time. Unreported exception. If did not report this exception, file not found. Please handle this. You must be caught or declared. This is the exception about file not found at the runtime. See, this is clearly telling that file not found exception, but at the compilation time it is error. Okay. The next category is unchecked exceptions. These are optional to handle because these are unchecked exceptions. So compiler left choice to the developer whether it is handled or not. That is why no check at the compilation time.